Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Off Course podcast. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Today we have a special guest. Oh, actually, I forgot to say who's hosting it. Today, Darren Liu and Jens Nzuzo will be hosting this episode. Today we've got a very special guest, a designer, a stylist, and an artist, Mhlonishwa Zulu, also known as Meesh. Our boy Meesh, how are you feeling on being here today, bro?
I'm feeling blessed being an outlet, my guy. Appreciate gents for letting me come out here, just like simple chats, but some good stuff we'll be talking about. Hopefully it reaches the people out there watching this. Hopefully they can take something out of this, and happy to be here, man.
Yeah, man. D, how you feeling?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited about this episode because I feel like it's such an important topic that we're going to touch on today. Like, I feel like today we're talking about like, who do you surround yourself? And it's almost that saying like, show me your friends, I'll show you your future type thing. So it's
exactly
just like,
that.
I'm excited.
No, definitely.
Very excited.
Bro. And Meesh, bro, just to get into it, like, am I right that you're in Cape Town right now, no?
Yeah, so I'm currently studying in Cape Town, about to go into my third year, studying contemporary art at the Cape Town Creative Academy. I've been there for obviously 3 years now, since 2021. So it's been a crazy journey, man. Like, not just with art, but also just fashion, as well as just other creative avenues that I've gone down, like with some video making, collaborations with other creatives as well. And then also just like into the topic that we're talking about, just like the people that I've surrounded myself with, who I've been with in Cape Town. Because funny enough, most of the people that I know in Cape Town I only met since coming there. Like, there's only like a handful of my friends here from Durban, from KZN, like hometown, coming that side. So a lot of people that I know either from Cape Town or just like around places that I've met in Cape Town, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that's dope, bro. And like, because Cape Town is like it's artsy, like there's a lot of that vibe, ne?
Yeah, no.
So like, do you think that's like the people that you surrounded yourself there, and like since Cape Town, like it's got that vibe to it? So like, do you think that's like amplified your skills in terms of like your eye for like your artistic eye and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, like definitely, I definitely think it has, because I know for one thing, like I always say to people, like Durban's like my home, but like Cape Town's like my city. Like it just made sense for me to go there, because I feel like as much as I love Durban, I wasn't able to kind of reach or like realize my artistic goals that I wanted, because it wasn't the resources I needed in Durban and like places around it. So I knew I just had to go to Cape Town. And honestly, like since coming there, it's been one of the best things that happened to me in like more than one way. Like obviously with the arts, like I'm able to be in the actual art scene, in the art world, just in school, the things they teach us, like the way they put us into like that whole space, that whole area. And then even just like outside, just roaming the streets of Cape Town, being in certain spaces and places with specific people as well. You learn, like you experience a lot of things in like real time, where I wouldn't have been able to experience that if I had stayed in Durban. And that's just for the arts itself, like for visual arts, with like my painting, drawings and things like that. But then also now just taking it into fashion as well. That's one thing that I've always, I guess I not say I've had an eye for fashion, but like I've always been interested by it. Like just seeing that, like just seeing how people dress and stuff. And I think it really, like my interest really peaked in like probably matric, towards like late matric, where I was like just online on social media, seeing different like influencers or like fashion creatives and creators doing all this, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool. Like I want to try to do that. Like I dig that. Like that's hard. These guys are doing their thing. Like they're putting their stuff on, and I was like, let me try to do that. But I don't know where to do that in Durban. I don't know where to find the people to do that, because no one's really doing it. Like all love to all three. But like there's like a certain sort of set way in which like Durban works. Like there's kind of an order. Like there's cliques, there's niches. Like you'll do this, you'll do that, you'll dress this way, you'll act that kind of way. And for me, I feel like I couldn't stay in a place like that in terms of that specific area of my life. And everything else, Durban, I still consider my home and I still love it. But in the areas of my life where I wanted to go forward with my creativity, I couldn't do that in Durban. So moving to Cape Town, I was able to first experience a whole new world. Like the little bubble that like I was in, it popped, bro. Like that thing just popped, and it was just like done. And then I was exposed to the real world, real people, and I was like, hey, whoa, this is real life, you know, this is real life. So then like that made me realize, okay, it's not just one way of doing something. Like that's what's a big thing for me also was experimentation. Like that's one thing where like you try new stuff, like even though you might be scared to like maybe try on this outfit or maybe put on that kind of piece of clothing because of what you've been told and what people always say, no, that's not how you're meant to wear this, you're not meant to do that. So I realized you can't really take that mindset because that's going to keep you caged up. It's going to keep you like stuck in a certain place. You're not going to be able to grow. And the thing with experimentation is like, it's not permanent. Like you try something, it doesn't work. You can just go back again to the drawing board, see what does work for you, and then put that on. And I think that's one thing that's meeting people there. That's what it showed me. Like the people that I met in Cape Town, like my close friend groups and just other people that I've worked with or I've just interacted with. They just showed me like that strength to like not be afraid to like kind of be yourself. And even if you don't know who you are, to just have the strength to take that step forward to like find yourself, you know? Ooh. So like I always like, people always ask me like, oh, Meesh, like I really like this outfit. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. And then like, so like who's like your inspiration and stuff? And for me, like a lot of it, like I'm sure a lot of us like have inspirations like online, people that we follow and stuff. Yeah. And, like we follow their lives. But a lot of it like was from a lot of my friends like that I met that side. Oh, and I saw them like putting on clothes, the way they carried themselves, even before coming to Cape Town. And then I saw, like when I got to know them, I found that even before coming to Cape Town, they was trying to do that stuff, trying to work it out, trying to like differentiate themselves from like the crowd, you know? And that for me was like inspirational. Like two guys, if I can point out two guys that I can put that on, two of my guys, Sine, Matrose, and then Saliso. Those two guys, like I'm really good friends with them, and I met them in Cape Town. And they're like two guys that really like, they know how to put it on, they know how to like kind of differentiate their style, you get me? So like it was really dope to like kind of see them do that and be like, whoa, these guys, like they're the same age as me. They just got out of high school like me. They still don't know what they want to do exactly with their lives maybe, but they're still doing something, you know? Like they're still being able to come forth. And it wasn't just them. They just happened to be one of the first few people that I saw doing that. And they're still, to this day, I still look to them for like, whoa, like that's dope. I really dig that. That can inspire me to try something else. And like from there, just I kept meeting more people that kept finding their own styles. That kept encouraging others to like, you know, find and like put on what they want to put on. And even now, like still finding people, still encouraging. Like that's a nice thing also with that scene in Cape Town. Like a lot of people encourage, a lot of people tell you to like try it on, don't be afraid. And when you do something and you're not sure, they can reassure you. They'll be like, oh dude, I really like that. Like I really like how you did this. That's really dope. I really like would like to see you do more of that. Like it's really cool. And I was like, oh, that's like, it gives you reassurance because obviously we can all be insecure, you know. We can all like not be sure of ourselves if all we're doing is the right thing. And sometimes you just need those people in your life to be like, nah bro, you're doing the right thing. And even if you're not sure, keep doing it because at some point you know you're gonna hit gold. Yeah, you get me?
No, that's fair. I just want to ask, like, have you always had this like sort of confidence to like step outside the box and dress like the way you want to dress and stuff like that, or was it like something you developed over time? Because you said like you got more into like the Meesh that's now like matric time. Am I right? So like, what about before that? What was the process?
Before that, it was a long process, bro. Like it was a long process trying to like step out of my shell. Cause like even now, like I still have those insecurities. Like I've never been that person straight off the jump. I guess like as a child, I was never really kind of scared to do much. Like I'd always go around. I'd always like just explore. I'd never really have that sort of fear or that sort of judgment on myself to be like, I don't know if this is right, you know. Like as a kid, I'd always like, my mom would always tell me I'd always just love exploring, even if I ended up like getting like losing her, like if we'd be out like on a family trip And then all of a sudden I'm gone. It's like, where's Mhlo? Where's Mhlo go? And then all of a sudden, like, they find me somewhere playing somewhere else. But like in my head, it's kind of like I'm just having like an adventure, you know? It's like my life. Like I'm just doing something. I'm having fun, enjoying that like journey, that process, you know? So then, for me, then I think a bit of that was lost, like transitioning from that young like childhood into like prep school and then into like high school, where now there's like, so you know, like there's like social standards and like these are like what the cool kids do. If you don't do this, you're whack. And for me, like I think that had a big bearing on me, like how I viewed myself and like sort of like how I tried to navigate through life. And I think that made me very insecure to like step out of my shell at that point. And then
I feel that.
and then when I started just slowly trying to take steps, trying to just talk to myself, trying to talk to other people that could see something in me that I didn't see a lot of the times, then I was like, wait, maybe there is something there. Let me actually try see. And then it was kind of just like a leap of faith that you had to just take. And then you took that first leap, and then someone was like, oh, nice, bro. I really love you doing this, man. Like, I'm really, I think the crazy part is not when people say, oh, wow, that's so cool. It's like, I love that you're doing this. It's almost as if they were expecting you to do it, and then you finally did it. So like they were always backing you from the beginning. But until you back yourself, that's only when you can like really shine, you know? That's only when you can like really come out of your shell and be who you are. And not necessarily when you come out of the shell, you won't necessarily be who you are there and then, but it's kind of like a journey, like you're just molding yourself, you know, learning. You fail sometimes, you get back up, you try again, you win, you know, you kind of go to the next level, and it's all like part of that journey. And I think what's most important with that journey, as much as the self-belief in yourself, I think, is number one. Having that system around you, those people around you, is what helps into just like keep like moving you forward, keep allowing you to just have that backing, have that foundation to be like, okay, even when there is hate, even when there is doubt, I know that there's still people that I can, you know, call for, not necessarily for backup, but that can like, you know, that have
Support,
my back, you know. They got me there, and like vice versa. Like I got them when they need me. I'll tell them, oh, I don't look nice, and like, bro, shut up. you know that shit's hard, bro. You know you're killing it right now. Like, you know you're killing it right now. And you know, it's just like, it's that back and forth, like that push and pull. You have to like kind of work together in that system, because like the people that you like keep around you, you know, you either grow with them or you grow out of them, you know. Like that's one or two things I've also been realizing. And it's all at like, it's all that point, like, you know, everyone wants to be at that table where they eat with, you know, their brothers and sisters and who they consider to be close to them, right?
Yeah.
And I think the journey is finding those people, and it happens at different times for like different people. You don't know if you'll find them straight away. Sometimes you might be fortunate enough to find them straight away. Other times it may take a while, and sometimes it might not be a lot of people. It might be a handful of people. But sometimes you only need a handful of people, you know, because that's when you know those are your real ones. Those are your like day ones. Yeah.
So like, what was it like for you? Because obviously, to find your people, you have to go through like some people that like obviously weren't that good for you, if you know what I mean. Like people that like end up bringing you down and stuff. So I don't know, how would you go about like managing those type of people? Would you cut them off, or like, what do you say?
I'm not sure. In my life, I guess for me, it's been different in the sense that I guess I've been fortunate enough where I haven't yet. I mean, I'm still young, so it might still come, but like I haven't come across necessarily people where we have a bad falling out where I have to like cut them off. But there's people where you realize, okay, I mean, I think it's a thing of like time just shows me, I think those people like, and it might be because of circumstance. Like an example is like in high school, right? Like it's certain, you had in high school, you come to high school, you either come with a group of friends or you don't, or you meet people in high school. And then at some point at the end of that high school journey, you're going to know, like, you know, who your real friends are coming out of it, going into the real world. And for me, I've had people in high school where I was really good friends with them and we were hanging out a lot and it was dope. But I did realize, and there was nothing bad on the person, but I did realize that it was just a matter of circumstances because we were always there in the same place, you know. But now once we're out of high school, I haven't seen some guys, like, because I've been out for 3 years now, like start of this year. So some guys I haven't seen since we were last both in uniform, you know. So it's things like that. Necessarily, I know for a lot of people, it can unfortunately be like negative falling outs where like someone does them wrong or something happens or something gets between them. But it can also just be, which can also ironically can hurt like a lot more, even if it's not a negative falling out, with people that you might think or like you believe that, oh, you're good friends, but it's just a matter that you are always there. And then when you're not together, there's not any real sort of connection or like not as strong a connection as you thought there was before.
Oh, yeah.
And that's never anything, I don't like to think of it as anything bad on the person or on myself. It's just what life is showing you, you know, like where you just drift apart, you know. And when you think about it, if you look back on it, like when I look back on it in retrospect, like for some people, it is like quite sad because you have memories, you have good memories with that person or those people. And then when you realize that it's kind of done, you're both going your own way, and you realize, you know, the phone calls or like the chats aren't as frequent. And then they kind of just like stop, and it's like, oh, I actually don't talk to this guy anymore. And it's kind of just like, you know, because that's, I think, one thing that's coming into uni has taught me is that you're on your own time now. Like you make time for yourself and for others. So then that's when you can actually see who's there for you, who makes time for you, as well as who you make time for. And that's when you can like actually manage who you keep in your circle, because it's all dependent on you now at that point.
Yeah, because I think like sometimes it's not like anything deep. You just outgrow certain people in life. Like you're just like, oh, okay, I actually don't chat to this guy as much. But I will, like, because you don't feel, since you've outgrown them, like you don't feel like you've really lost anything. Yeah. Because you yourself, you've grown into this certain person, and now you don't feel as if you've lost like a big piece. Like as you said, like if it had to be like a falling out, now this person that you've been friends with like for a long time, now they're out of your life because of this certain thing of where you may have messed up or they may have messed up.
Yeah.
But also like another question I want to ask now is that like, obviously you said that like there is this kind of direction that like most people like to go, like the more comfortable way in terms of dressing, and they don't really want to make themselves uncomfortable by making different types of decisions in terms of their creativity. But like, have you received hate in terms of like, I don't think like this guy maybe feels himself or something like that? Like, I mean, those weird things. People are weird.
Yeah, nah, people are weird, bro. I mean, if I haven't heard about it. Like, I guess I can say I'm fortunate enough, but like, I've also that saying where like, if you don't have any haters, then, or like if you have haters and you're doing something right, you know, like have you heard like that winner mentality, hustle mentality? For me, like I haven't really come across that. Like I've come across things where maybe I'll say this is a dope fit or something that I might put on, and then someone will be like, nah, bro, please don't do that, dog. Like I like how you're dressing now. Like that's really cool. Like don't do this other weird stuff. I'm like, but bro, like what do you mean? Like it's clothes, dude. Like I like to put this on. It's not meaning like I'm gonna change who I am. I'm still gonna be who I am, but it's just more of a development now.
You're trying something like different.
I can do this the one day, but the other day I'm still gonna have what I had before that you liked. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not doing it for the haters, you know. You're doing it for yourself, and then after that for the people like around you, you know. Because everything is like there has to be a reason. It's like, why am I doing this? It's not like why are we doing this or why am I doing this for this? It's like, why am I? Why Zulu? Why am I, you know, putting on this certain piece with this, you know? And like obviously there've been times where like I'll put on something and people be like, nah, bro. Or be like, you like not necessarily like, nah, it's whack, but like you see when you have some, like for me, like I've had where like I'll have like an outfit and people really like it, and then I'll have something else and then people will be like, oh yeah, like I like that, like that's dope.
Yeah.
And maybe in your head you're like, nah, this outfit is just hard, like I'm really digging it. But then like your expectation of their response is not where you thought it was. Now you're like, oh damn, maybe it actually isn't that deep. And those times can get to you where like you feel insecure, like, oh, like have I lost it? I'm not sure if it's not as nice, maybe the response. And that's something that I'm still like, a lot of people I'm sure, and myself included, still trying to like tackle, like just taking on different sort of responses, like praise as well as like hate and criticism, you know, to whatever degrees they may come. So like for me it's something like to not try like to take it all with a pinch of salt. Like even the praise, like you take the praise, you can enjoy it in the moment, like be thankful, but you can't kind of let that be your driving force, because at some point you're not you may not get the whole world or whoever is backing you to back you at that moment that you might need it if you're now hoping on their praise to like drive you and push you forward. You gotta have, that's when you have to have that confidence in yourself to be like, regardless of what happens, I enjoy it, I like it. And that's what I'm trying to also just tell myself now, like, you know, every time I step out the house, every time I'm doing something, you know, it's like you have to learn to like love it for yourself and to do it for yourself. And then when you do that, people see like the authenticity of that, like they'll see it. Like that's another thing also, just to stay on that topic, but to just use a different example, like with my art and just with art in general, like there's different art forms, like abstract art, there's like realistic, you know, all sorts of things like that. Like, and for me, for a long time, like also in high school, I had like a certain way of viewing art. Cause like I tended to do like a lot of realistic, natural, like sort of drawings, portraits and things like that. And I wanted to be like perfect. Like I was a very big like perfectionist, like in high school. And like, it was a very bad thing, looking back now. And I'm only like just getting over that like now. And just realizing when you maybe see, like for myself, to give an example, like I'd see like an abstract piece, like some paint splatter and like just things that you might see like in a museum or like a gallery, and I'd be like, I can do that. Like a 5-year-old can do that. Like, you know, you see like an art piece, like, oh, a 5-year-old can do that. Like, come on, dude. And then like coming now into like the art world and seeing so many different pieces of art and like from so many different people, you get a new like perspective on it. And for me now, like I can look at that same piece and be like, oh, I get it now. Like I get it. Like, yeah, sure, maybe a 5-year-old could do that, but it's because the person that made this, and sadly there are people that won't understand what I'm saying, and I'm not gonna like blame them, but like, because I would have been the same as them. Like, no, and what do you mean? Like, it's the same or like it's different? Like, it's the intention behind it, you know. It's like why you make this painting. So like, you can have like a Leonardo da Vinci artwork, and then you can have another work that's just like a paint splatter and like just like some paint, like some brushes of paint or all of that. And people can compare that and be like, one is better than the other. But you can't like you can't really compare things like that, because it's subjective. Obviously, art is always subjective.
Definitely.
And there's only certain ways you can really compare, like if you're talking like technicality, like in terms of shading and perspective and things like that. But if you're talking about like intention and meaning and like what this expresses to someone else when they look at it, that's where you can't say one is better than the other. It's what it makes you feel inside, you know. So like the same can be said with like fashion as well, and art and so many other things in life. Is like, what's your intention and your meaning behind it, and whatever you show, someone can receive that. So like now, if I were to look at that same painting, I can be like, whoa, I actually can't do this, because behind like what I put into my paintbrush and what I put into the canvas, it's not going to be the same thing that guy did, because there was a story behind it. There was a reason, you know, he made that, and only certain people will feel it. That's why you'll see these paintings going for millions of dollars, because those people, for one reason or another, and it's not always like the case that this like concept or idea of like feeling and emotion is there. Maybe they just want to buy it just to like make it look nice in their house or something, you know. But there's always that possibility that someone can feel that and connect to the piece. So like the same way someone can connect to an outfit, be inspired, be like, whoa, someone's doing something that I've wanted to do, but I've always been scared to do it. But now I see them doing it, and that's given me courage, you know, to go out and try it myself. And then once you do that, other people will see you doing that, and then other people see them, and then that's where you kind of get connection. Like that's how you connect with other people as well. So then at that point, that's when having that like group or having your circle of people is like the most important, because a lot of times I'm fortunate enough that the people that I'm friends with, they're in Cape Town, and just like that friends with over the past couple of years, we're like-minded in that way, where like we can see something and we can just understand it in like that same way, even though maybe like I understand it differently to Dan, but we both understand that sort of thing. He understands it because of his own personal readings, and I understand because of my own personal, but we both kind of understand it. I don't know if you get me.
No, I understand you, bro.
Yeah, you know, so like it's kind of stuff like that.
Because I even in when I did drama, it's like sort of like the same thing, because when you look at arts and you look at drama, like at the end of the day, like, okay, so like the play itself is representing something, just as the artistic piece itself is representing something. And you have to also look, because the director or the screenwriter or the artist is trying to portray something in that work of art that he's created. You might not see it the first time, but then when you watch it again, you're like, oh, okay. Like all these other forms like surrealism, Afro-surrealism. Like I'm not sure if have you guys watched Atlanta, bro?
Bro, I need to watch it. People gonna hate me. The guys gonna hate me because they always say like, "Oh, you need to watch this thing. You'll love it." Like, I need to watch it, bro.
Dog, that show is so good, and it's it's amazing. If you get the chance, please watch it.
I'll watch it, bro.
Atlanta.
By who?
Donald Glover.
Yeah, I heard that he was thinking like director behind it and stuff. Yeah,
bro, it's crazy.
Why do you say it's crazy? Like what?
So like Afro, like we never got to learn about it. Like we learned about surrealism,
like
what is
Darwinism and stuff like that.
Darwinism and all of that.
What is that?
So if I can remember like correctly, like obviously if I'm wrong, like correct me, guys. But like, so if I start with surrealism, it's close to what Meesh was talking about, because you may look at a painting and like you're like, oh, this is child's play. Like I can do this, but then you don't know the meaning or intention that's gone behind into that piece of artwork, because it represents something more than just like what's actually on the piece itself. So when we talk about surrealism, right? So surrealism was like all these like concepts and theories, like they all came at like during like a certain period of time within like history. So like surrealism came during like a certain period of where like the human race was like really depressed. I think it was during like World War I or World War II.
Oh yeah, so
like that.
So it was like surrealism. So like that was like Dadaism was like after World War II. Yeah, I think it was World War II. And like basically like you're right. Like they were depressed and like they were just like sad and they were like kind of angry at the world. Or like because like everything that the world thought it was, like all the rational thinking, all the this that ended up leading to wars and death and all of that. So then they wanted to like kind of throw that out the way and just be like, we're just gonna do whatever. We're gonna like kind of screw the system, flip it on its head, just do whatever, do the most like absurd random things, like take this, put it over its head, put my phone on top. There, that's Dada, that's art. And then like surrealism kind of built from that, but it was a lot more positive. Like it wanted to kind of take this sort of like not human feelings, but like things like dreams and like that sort of idea of just this. I think they called it automatism, like this act of just moving and like feeling and like painting and making in the moment, not having like a thought or like a plan. They wanted to like sort of not deal with that and kind of just work with dreams, work with stuff that didn't really make sense. And then they made sense. They found sense in that, like however they wanted to do it. So like for me personally, like that's also that's my favorite art movement and like style of art making. And like Salvador Dali, he's like one of the most, if not the most like famous surrealist artists. And like I look to him like as an inspiration because of like how he does things, the paintings he makes, the things he includes. Like when you look at the meaning, it's so like deep and in depth. But when you look at the painting, you can't really just pick that up like straight like off the surface when you look at it.
Because that's facts, bro. Because even like Meesh, you must correct me if I'm wrong. They're like, well, it's also like a certain part of it is also like throughout a day, like a lot of weird shit happens.
Yeah.
But in your mind, like, cause you're so used to weird shit happening, you don't realize that, oh shit, this is actually weird.
Yeah.
So when someone actually like shows you a play or like a TV show of where like, oh wait, that's actually like weird. That's actually weird. Like, that's so weird.
Like,
it
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, and that actually happens in life. And then I'm surprised like we don't have a show like that in SA, because SA is fucking weird, bro. Like so many weird things happen here. Like a lot of crazy things happen here.
Nah, bro, this place is a fever dream, dog. It doesn't make sense, bro.
So I'm like, I thought they would have made something like that now, but like If they
Maybe
still wanna
you must
sing.
make it.
Huh?
Maybe you must make it.
Hey,
Yeah,
maybe.
start it out.
You know, screenwriter. You know.
But like that, I think I'd have to go for like classes and stuff. And that also, all the stuff requires like gang funding.
One day.
Bro.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
One day's one day, bro.
We gotta act on those dreams, bro. But also, like, another question that I wanted to ask you, Meesh, is like, because we're talking about like the artist's intention and stuff like that. So, do you think where like most artists go wrong is where like they ask the question of what others will think before, okay, what do I think? Like before they release that the piece of art.
I think yes, but also I guess it just depends like how much. Like I know a lot of times as an artist you have to be able, like for me I've learned like an artist's job is like to challenge for one thing, like
Yeah, definitely.
because artists aren't like everybody else, and this is like specifically on the person, like knowing being an artist myself and just like going to school with a whole bunch of artists, like no one in my class is normal, bro. But like for the best reasons, like no one is normal, and I'm glad that they aren't, because they have a different way of seeing things, they have a different way of acting, and they have a different way of kind of speaking from like the average person who like kind of this like wakes up, does this, does that, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, right? Like, and for them it's like they might not follow that sort of procedure. So I think being able to not care, but at the same time it goes both ways. Like you have to also see, there's always like a difficult question to like kind of answer, because I think the best way I think I can answer is that it really has to be like a trial and error. I don't think you can be a successful artist unless you've gone through a period, multiple periods, maybe even your whole life without trial and error. Like you can't always succeed. Like you will fail at some point. You will get like criticism. You will be like, should I do this? And then you listen to the person and you do it, and you might get it right, but then you also might get it wrong.
Yeah.
But then you're like, no, I'm not going to listen to this person. But that's also a bad thing, because at some point you have to take some different lens other than yourself. Like specifically also like with a painting, like I know my lecturer would always say, like I'd be deep in the painting, I get super like focused and zoned in maybe on like one part, and then she'd always be like, just take a step back, don't look at your painting for a bit, just focus on other stuff, and then come back to it with fresh eyes. So that's one thing you need like those fresh eyes or that fresh perspective from someone to like be like, what do you think, you know? And then at that point it's up to you to decide how you're going to take their response. Like, you know, you take it with a pinch of salt. You either add onto it, like you add onto your work, or you just, you know, throw it to the side. But at that point the choice is up to you. And then I think that's where like a lot of artists kind of need to, let me say a lot of young artists, because all the artists know this because they've experienced it, and I think that's what they're trying to tell us as like the younger generation of artists, to be able to have those trials and errors, to be able to just try to experiment. Because I know for myself it's not just experimentation with fashion, but also with art. Like I think I first experimented with art because I had a set style, I had a set way of doing things, and then when I moved, I think that's what was one of the most, I think that's actually what was the starting point, like the turning point for me with all my creative like fields, avenues that I'm in, was like with my art, because that's the reason I came to Cape Town. So from there I realized I had to step out of my shell. I had to stop just doing things a certain way. I had to experiment, even if I knew there's a possibility of it going wrong. And I was very scared. Like it's a very scary thing to try something new and not sure how it's going to turn out, because you put so much into it, or like you try, like you have an expectation of how you want it to go, and if it doesn't go, sometimes your whole world can come crashing down. But I think in order to kind of overcome that, you have to be able to just be prepared for the worst. It's like a saying that some people in my family always saying, like people just like around me, is like, expect the best but prepare for the worst, you know?
Yeah.
Because nothing in life is certain. Like, not to get deep, but like the only certain thing in life is, you know, when you kick the bucket, you know, when you die. Like before that though, nothing is set in stone, nothing is right. Life could be going well today, it could do a whole 180 tomorrow, and you don't know what to do from there. But if you kind of have to have that room space to be able to accept, and then your own responsibility to now how you respond to that situation, you know. So I think just with asking, like when as an artist, I think it's good to do both, like to ask people what you think, what should I do with this, to always get advice, because it's always good to get advice, you know, because getting advice is just getting advice, whether you take it, that's your choice, you know, at the end of the day.
I feel like besides, like, I feel like that piece of advice isn't just for like artists. I feel like it's for the youth, like as a whole. Like everyone can take that advice and apply it to their lives. Where like you shouldn't be scared of what other people think. Like ask for advice, ask for an opinion on something, and like it's up at the end of the day, as you say, it's like you can choose whether you implement that advice or you don't. So like even if you want to start a new journey or you want to start a new project, like it doesn't have to be art. Because like some of you watching like aren't artists, to be honest. So like I just want to say like ask for the advice, if you know what I mean.
No, that's facts, bro.
Yeah, never be scared, because I've always been scared to like, that's one thing, like I was always scared to like ask, or even to like say, I'd always like hold my tongue.
Yeah.
But like when you ask, you realize, oh, it was one for like one thing, it wasn't that hard. And then the second thing is that you're actually getting something out of this. Like, you know, you might get your answer, you know, you might be like, oh, okay. And then that gives you like, you know, more confidence to like ask again, because it's always about asking and learning and finding and figure, like as humans, that's what we want to do. We always want to like just progress, learn, kind of just as like a collective. Obviously people just like to also like just kind of stay still, do their thing, but I feel like as people, you know, you like to just like, that's one of my friends, Bongani Dindi, like he's someone that always loves to learn, you know, explore, create, whether he wins or loses, you know, he always just try again. He kind of loves that development of like people, like, you know, humans, like humanity, like as a whole, like kind of moving forward, learning, you know, just growing basically.
And like I feel like people don't ask because they're afraid to like show that they don't know, if you know what I mean. Like everyone wants to have this image where like where they like know everything, they know exactly how their life is going, like, and like how they need to be doing things. But like at the end of the day, we all don't really know what we have like, in store. Like we don't know exactly what we're meant to be doing or like how to do certain things. So like take it easy on yourself. Like ask people, man. Ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Like, you know, he's chilling like, hey man, it's only my third day here, bro. Like I don't know what's happening. None of us know. Like that's the thing, like as you grow older, people's like, I know like now for myself, like a lot of my friends, like a lot of us turning like 21 this year and like getting older, like whoa, like this is real life, like having like serious like life like chats and what's gonna do. But I realize, and people are like, we're not kids anymore, we're not doing this. Like technically, like bro, like to me it's like I've never thought of myself as getting like older, like I'm old now. It's kind of like I'm still a kid, I just know more now, you know. And I know more because like Dan, like you're saying, like, I had to ask, you know. Like I was scared because I thought I didn't know, like I didn't want to seem like I didn't know anything. But you have to like ask, you know, you have to, because none of us know. So like you're really right on that point.
Now you guys are, because when I'm thinking about this like advice that you're giving now, like I realize you can use that like in any space,
like everywhere,
whether it's like artistic space or like whether in the classroom especially, bro. Like I won't lie, like I grew out of it though, because in grade 11 I was scared to like look down in like maths, né? But then I realized like if you don't ask questions, bro, I was born and like you can't blame anyone if you're not asking questions. Like ask the teacher questions. Like the teacher's there for a reason. Ask her for help. Like don't be afraid of like looking down or like looking slow. No, you might be confused about what's going on, or like even the student next to you. And this again, your advice works in every situation. Students in your design class, math class, university class, anything. Like if you're asking them for help, don't be afraid to like look lost or anything. Like you're just asking like your peers for help. And I don't think like you should be afraid to do that unless like you've got like a lot of pride. Like you don't want to.
That's the thing though. Like bro, like love's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you.
Hey dog, yo.
Kendrick said this. Say pride. Kendrick said it first. But it's it. Nah, dude. Like you're right about that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're either gonna know more because you asked, or you're gonna stay in the same place, and it's not gonna help you if you just keep quiet. you be prideful or whatever, and you just chill like that, you know.
No, that's facts, bro. But dude, I saw this one video that you posted on Instagram, dog. I actually wanted to ask you about that one. The GQ one, dog. That thing. Do you seen it, man?
Yeah, the what 10 things can't
Yeah, the essentials
Yeah,
things.
essentials.
Yeah, bro. That was dope. How did you what made you think, okay, today I actually want to do this?
Shout out. Well, it wasn't my idea. I gotta shout out my homie Wavy Terry, my guy Terrence. I met him. He's one of the homies I met in Cape Town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's a YouTuber. Go check out his channel, guys. I don't know how we're gonna
We'll leave it in
we'll
the link.
just-
We'll leave it
yeah.
in the
link in the
link.
description, whatever, you know. But yeah, Wavy Terry. But that was my homie. So he came up to me the one time because he's a YouTuber and he was doing a series actually. Like it was a parody series of like the GQ Essentials, which he called the Wavy Essentials. And he's like got a whole bunch of Cape Town creatives and creators to like come and just kind of just do their own thing. And like it was like a fun, cool thing. It was just meant to be like, you know, for fun, for laughs, just to enjoy. So he told me the one time, and I've never been like big on like being on YouTube. Like, I haven't gotten to that point where it's like, yeah, YouTube, do all that stuff now, you know. And he told me, and I was like, dude, why not? Like, let's go, Terry. Let's try this. And then I just came the one day. We sat down. We shot. I got all my. It took me a while to get my essentials because I was like, what's actually my essentials? Like, what do I go out the house with, you know? So then I had to do that. Sat down, and it was cool because like we were good friends. So like it was like the whole like environment was like, you know, really nice, calm. Also like working like, you know, efficiently and stuff. So it was good to work with him, and like it was just fun. Like we just enjoyed the whole process, and we didn't expect like the response and like how it turned out to like get all like the reviews and all of that, and people like actually like really digging it and being like, "Yo, you should start a YouTube channel." And I was like, "Guys, a whole YouTube channel, like that's crazy. A whole YouTube channel is crazy." But it did make me realize like, okay, wow, like, you know, it's not that hard or that scary to do like these kind of things, you know. And it made me realize, okay, I actually want to like be more interactive, like on my social medias, you know, on things like TikTok. Even though for a long time I was always against the idea. I don't know, I had like a stigma. I don't want to be like a TikToker influencer type thingy, you know. But then like I realized it's not like, you know, it's how I choose to go about it, I guess. So I was like, you know, that actually made me want to like, you know, be, because I also realized even though the response is good, it was just kind of just fun to like kind of see the final product, even looking back on like the whole behind the scenes working on it. So it was fun. It made me realize like I actually want to try go into that again, like maybe just try to do more things like that. Maybe not necessarily YouTube right now, but like doing things like just being more interactive on like Instagram, like with things like Reels or like with TikToks, and kind of seeing where it goes, where it takes me, you know. Yeah.
Because TikTok, like if you get like the right, what do they call it? The
algorithm?
Yeah, the algorithm. If you get the right algorithm, that shit can go viral, bro.
It can go crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was one of my first, I think my first like fashion sort of like inspiration like guy was this other TikToker. He started like Wisdom K. Like he was like a fashion TikToker. He always like put on like he'd put on his fits and like do that. And he was only like a year older than me. He's like this fashion TikToker like in America. And he started doing that, and then he started to get like, you know, traction. People started to see him because he did his own thing in his authentic style, and no one else was doing it like him, right? But other people were still doing TikToks like fashion stuff, but he found a way to do it for himself. And then that's when I was like, oh, that's actually so sick. And now he's huge, like he's big, he's getting invited to all these shows, Fashion Week, doing like collabs with big brands, you know. And the bro's only like 21. You know, like probably I think maybe like 2022 or something.
Yeah.
But like he's doing that, and he's still so young. He's probably still figuring it out himself. But I think he's like kind of enjoying. And I'm not. This is not me speaking for him, but like this is what like I can just see from what he shows on social media is that, you know, it seems like he's kind of still figuring himself out like so many other people, no matter the age or whatever, you know. So I think for like the youth now, especially in South Africa, because there's a lot of like creatives that I've seen that are going crazy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like they don't have the traction, or like they don't have the right, I guess, network or media. Like they don't have the clout basically to be shown. And that's another thing like that kind of like does like irritate me, like piss me off, like that the people that are actually like really putting out good content, crazy stuff, like with insane ideas that like the world should see, they might not all make it because they might not all have the platform to put that out, you know. So like that's another thing, like just with going now back to like the networking and connecting with your circle and your friends, having people to support you, to like, you know, try just put you out there, try like showcase your own work, whatever it might be, not necessarily arts and fashion, but whatever it is you're doing, you know. Like things like this podcast, for example, things like maybe if you're not like in the creative like industry, if you're just doing some other work but you want to get seen, you know, you want to get known, you have those friends that can help you like put you out. Maybe they might know someone, maybe they just them, maybe they have a bigger following, whatever, they can just put you out and just to connect and collab, like stuff like that. I think it's very important.
Like if you can get us in contact with some of those guys, bruh, because we also love to, because this thing isn't just about like interviewing people, but like also promoting their hard work and their talent, you know, because we want to get them out there.
Definitely, bro. I just gotta go through it because there's a lot of creators, bro. Like you don't realize like how many people are doing a lot of stuff like everywhere, and like that's why it's always like, that's why it's hard. That's why I think it also discourages a lot of people, because like there's a lot of people, like a lot of people, chance. Like, so really like, yeah, it's that thing of just like putting them out, trying to just find the way people like differentiate from the crowd. They try to do something. Sometimes they try to do something just to like step away from the crowd. But they're not really doing they're not doing their thing, you know. Like kind of need to find your groove, and then that way you can stand out, you know. But yeah, no, definitely, like I definitely would love to just get more people to like, you know,
bro,
because I know you guys can definitely do that, you know.
That would be great, man.
Yeah, man.
But then there was even another thing, Meesh, because I wanted to ask you another question there. With both of you, actually, if you guys can comment on this, right? So, when we were talking before about how, like, there's a certain direction that people are going in now in terms of dressing. And I think it can be pretty toxic at times.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that some people, in order to go out, they feel that they have to put on something that's of a name brand. They're scared to like get left behind, if you get what I'm saying. Like they feel like if they're going out to like the club or something, or anywhere, like they might feel certain, like, I won't say anxiety, but like, oh, I should be wearing this, you know, this is what's in, this is what's like,
just following the trends.
Yeah. Like, you know, the main t-shirts that you'll see going on, like Velo and Antisocial, all of those things. Like, if you see those types of things.
Yeah, Angel, stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen so, like, no disrespect, like, some of the pieces are cool, but I've seen so many, bro.
Bro.
Then now, like, it's not even like he's got an essentials. It's just like, there's another one.
Yeah, like, it's getting packed now. So now, like, do you think, since these people are, like, wearing... Like, people feel the need to, like, wear these things. And that, as you said, like, the people who... Because it's easy to just put on a name brand. Okay. Apparently, that's what
Drip.
That's what's drip. Like, apparently, you dress nicely now. But, like... And then that picture, let's say, on Instagram will get, like, gang likes, you know? But then, let's say a person who's actually putting in the effort and, like, they actually, like, trying to look stylish and it's their own thing. It's not just something about it being a name brand and like them, because I'm not saying that I'm not attacking anyone. Like that person puts on a name brand, whatever, maybe they are showing off, maybe they aren't, but the person who's actually putting in the work, do you think that's making us less creative in terms of that we go to the default of this is what's trending, this is what I should be wearing when I go out? So do you think that's like hurting that type of creative process for like everyone in general, in terms of like doing their own thing?
Do you want to say anything first, Darren?
I think it's a culture thing. It's like everyone's trying to, like we said in previous episodes, everyone's trying to portray a certain lifestyle. Like, this is what I do. I wear Velo and I pop bottles. Lifestyle. Like, a lot of people are trying to portray that type of lifestyle these days. So I just feel like it is like sapping away from the creative side of things, because people aren't putting on clothes because they think like, this is dope, I look good in this, I feel good in this. It's more like people are going to think I look dope. People are going to think I'm balling, I'm rich, you know, I'm this type of guy. It's like,
yeah, dude, hey, come on.
Yeah, now I agree with that. Like, it's definitely a culture thing. It's definitely like a trend, and I think that's what's like trapping people and like keeping them in a certain, like, they can't move forward with that. Like, that's the one thing. Like, when I see like people say drip, like I've come to like also, hey, as much as I'm like someone's like, oh, you have drip, I'll be like, thanks, but I've come to hate that word, gents. Like, yo, the word drip, like it lost its meaning. Like now drip is what you have when you wear designer. And I'm not that guys, please don't come, I'm not attacking, but I'm gonna say like, for me, like the word drip is what you say like when someone's wearing designer, head to toe, Gucci, they got the big velo and they there, whatever, they got the, I don't know, Paul, like, you know, just stuff like that, you know. But then it's like, for me, it's like there's drip and then there's style. Like, if you have style, that means you have an eye for it. That means you can put things together. That means you can put together an outfit, something that you can put in that's like you, like that's personally be like, wow, you know. It's like cooking, bro. It's like you can take something already made, like that's what a drip is. Like you put something in the microwave, it's cooked, it's already done for you. Style is like cooking. You're chopping up the onions, you know, you're putting it in, like cutting up the chicken, whatever, you know, you're making something clean.
Good analogy. That's
you know, and you can tell that this person made it, like they made it with like their heart. So, you know, they put their thing into it. That's how I differentiate it, you know. So like for me, it's definitely a thing of culture, definitely a thing of like people trying to seem like what they might not actually be, you know, like that's not who you are. Like you might put on head to toe, whatever design, whatever you want to do. You might have like a nice jacket, a nice Palm Angels jacket. You might do this and that, but it's like that's what you want to look like. That's not who you are, you know.
But no hate to people that do wear designers, because I've seen like some people with style, as you would say, that do wear designer.
Yeah.
So like good prime example would be like someone like Sitelo. That guy has like nice clothes.
Yeah.
And he like pulls it off properly. Like,
Yeah, you see, like
that's
like it's things like that. Like that's the thing. Like he's got the designer, but he can style it.
Yes,
he can
yes,
style it.
yes.
He can be like you'll have the, like I saw this guy had a fly guard like hoodie, like a West Side Gun hoodie thing. Oh, I think it was crazy. And then he had like a bomber, and then he had his thing, and I was like, no, that's a hard fit, bro.
Yeah.
Because like I look at this and I can be like, yeah, that's a nice outfit, bro. My guy put that shit on.
Yeah, like even if that was like blanks or something else, like it wasn't designed, it still looked like really good.
And the best part is like if you took it like the labels off, I'd still call
Yes,
it a
exactly,
hard fit,
exactly.
you know. Like it's not, for me, it's not about the labels. Like whether the labels are there or not, it's just a label. What you're doing is just like you're just carrying. That's like your personality. It's like on the floor. It's like design, you know. Like
That's facts, bro. Hey, nah, slime, dope guy, bro. Dope guy. But then even with all of that, so if we take that into account, né, like, so in terms of that, like, what advice would you give to like the upcoming people who are going through it now? Because it's still like a prevalent thing of where people like feel like they have to do this certain thing. So like, what would you say to them? Like,
I think it's easier said than done to just be like, don't care what others think, do what you like, and all of that. It's easier said than done. Like if someone told me, I wouldn't just instantly be like, oh, you're right, of course, bro. Like no, you can't. Nah, it does take a lot, and obviously who you're friends with, maybe just that might be like your guys' whole, like, you know, your guys' whole swagger. Like that's how you guys roll. So like it can be hard to like change out of what you already know and what you're used to, right? But I think it's just like maybe low steps. Like that's like how progress happens. It happens with low steps, little, maybe I just won't do this. Or maybe if you do have old designer, maybe your first step is like, I'll stop buying designer. Let me just get something else. Like maybe just get like a white tee, or maybe get like, you know, maybe it's like a cap or something, you know. But like that's not like a designer, a cap that I actually like. And then you put that on, and then you start just like building it up like that. Cause that way you can find your style. Like, cause you won't find it overnight. Like I'm still experimenting. Like it took me at least 3 years to get to where I am now. And that was still through self-doubt, still through, experimentation, not being sure if this is going to look nice, but I'm going to put it on anyways, you know, and just being brave enough to step out of that. So I think it's really just like, you know, just having that like support system, like those people to be like, yeah, no, do just try, go for it. And if you're in the case where your support system might not be encouraging, not necessarily say leave that support system, but maybe just try to talk to your boys, be like, yo, bro, I was thinking I want to go check out this place. They had like these really cool caps. Like, oh, what brand? Nah, it wasn't a brand. It was just like a thing. And then, you know, hopefully if the bros are like, oh, yeah, let's go check it out. Then you go check it out. But I think that's, I guess, the only way I could think about it. Because I won't lie. Like, like Darren said, there are some people that can pull off the designer stuff. But like, those people specifically like pull it off, you know? Like they can be like, they can piece the designer brands together and it can look nice. But it's like, I don't look at them and think that designer is all they are, you know? Like I have another friend also, you guys know him, Jono. He was, in 2020.
Yeah, Jono.
Oh, Jono. Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
he also is designer, but like I can look at him and be like, nah, like it just makes sense on this guy. Like it just makes sense. Like it looks clean, you know? So stuff like that. Like you can get people that can do it and people that can't do it. And I guess you gotta just find out which bracket you fall into if you are in that space right now where you are wearing designer or you're doing stuff, you know, because a lot of times people that do wear designers, they either wear it because that's the trend or because maybe they want to try to find their own sort of fashion style and sense, but this is the only thing that they know right now.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
That might be it also.
Yeah.
So if that's the case for anyone, you know, then kind of maybe just take what I've said, maybe just see what you can work with from that, you know.
No, that's facts, bro. Because also I think like at times like our fashion here that we have can be a bit too westernized at times, if you get what I'm saying.
No, I get you. Like it's like Americanized, like
like Americanized, even like gang European brands and stuff like that. Like maybe we need to start dressing like we're Kando or something, bro. Like if you think about it, like that would be dope. Like, cause the stuff that they like, we have that stuff, but people just don't wear it. I don't know if like some people like, why do we only have to have a traditional gathering for us to pull that shit out? Like, why can't we just be pulling that shit out anywhere? Cause that stuff is bro. Like, it not only like is it from our roots, but it also looks
Yeah,
like I think we should pull it out like all the time, bro. Like especially cause this country's diverse, bro. Like we have a lot of like rich cultures, people from different places. So like whether like from, if we're talking about like your culture or ethnicity in terms of like where that's rooted from, I think you should take
take
proud
pride
of
in
it,
it,
bro.
yeah.
I also just want to add, like, I'm assuming you're talking like more traditional, like dress, right?
Yeah.
How would you view like people of different like cultures and stuff, like wearing that type of stuff? Would that be considered cultural appropriation or appreciation?
Yeah, that's where,
You see,
that's where you must just know where to. You must know,
it's just like, yeah, there's a
like,
line.
so where is the line?
The line. I feel like you can. It's the eye test. I'll know it when I see it.
You'll know it when you see it.
It's just on side, like
Like, wait, it's your dude. That's cultural appropriation.
that's
Like,
like
if
this isn't right.
This is right, bro. That's cultural appropriation. Like, if a white girl posts a picture on Instagram, she's got braids, for example. How? And then
That doesn't make
Like,
sense
that-
because it's like it's a protective style and it's like
Yes.
damaging her hair.
yeah, it's
and
also like it's gonna damage your hair, dog. And like it's not
not
for
for
you.
you.
It's not meant for you. So that's why like it's a know it and you'll see a situation also. But like
but with things like clothes,
with clothes, I don't know, man, because I've seen like let me take for example my sister's memola, ne? So you know memola,
Yeah,
right?
Memula, yeah. My sister also had hers.
Yeah,
like
your
last
sister
year.
also had one.
don't know.
So D, like when
It's kind of like a coming of age
Oh, okay.
almost. Yeah. So like when they're like when they turn like 21, then there's like a whole kind of celebration to like show like they're going into like their womanhood.
Oh,
and
so
then,
it's like almost to celebrate them.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
and then like
celebrating
family
them.
will be there and you celebrate and then
like her white friends, some of her white friends came, and they were wearing like some of the traditional attire, some of the beads and stuff like that. So when like I won't lie, like I don't think no one found anything wrong with that. I'm not sure if Are we supposed to?
I don't think.
Because I think at the same time, like it was also like they were trying to pay like
Respect.
yeah, like they were trying to be respectful
Yeah,
towards
there's
like our culture.
appreciation, like cultural appreciation.
But then when does it go too far?
Yeah, when does it go too far?
Okay, I see what you mean
Yeah,
now. Like
there's
the
a
eye
thin
test.
line. Like it's this or that.
Because then it's also difficult, bro. Because like, okay, let me take Sia Kolisi for example.
Yeah,
So he's obviously married to Rachel.
yeah,
So now since he married Rachel and she's white, but she's married to Sia who's black and is close on it.
yeah.
Like I'm assuming because of like Xhosa traditions, she's like kind of like moved her way into like Sia's culture as like as his wife, you know?
Okay.
So I think because they're married, it's a different story. Does that make sense?
She's not.
yeah,
she's
I
not
think so,
like
'cause,
some
like-
random white girl.
She's not just some random white person who put on traditional clothing and was like, "Yo," if you get me. Né?
Yeah, like it was sort of like a. I don't want to say like full assimilation, but like it's joining sort of to because like at the end of the day, like you're like your own culture and heritage has to be preserved, and you're like
Yeah.
through family, through tradition, all of that. But like as the world is growing and changing and stuff, like you kind of to a certain degree have to change with it in order to keep up with the world because it's the world you live in.
No, that's
you know,
true.
so there has to be like some sort of like I've always also thought it's like who like one day when I get married, like who I don't know who I'm gonna marry. I don't know what their race, ethnicity, like I don't know where they're gonna be from, and I don't know what's gonna happen with my family and their family and our cultures if they happen to be different. If she's not Zulu, right? So then like I always think like how would that work? Like how do you join that? And I can't necessarily say I have an answer to it, but it's like I don't know. I actually don't have an answer to it, but it's kind of just, it's something to think about, I guess.
Yeah.
Something to like think about. And I think also just like with terms of clothing and stuff, I was just thinking about like how you kind of, because I think, yeah, you're right. There is like a lot of westernization, like with our like sense of style and clothing and stuff. Like, and it's like all of us, like at some point, like we do wear stuff from like, Europe and things like that. And like, I do like lots of styles from like Europe and all of that, and I get inspiration from there. So it's interesting to like kind of think of like how you can sort of still like hold true to like your roots and kind of almost connect it to, but still keeping it like authentic, I guess. Like because like I know like of two brands like Makhosa, you know that brand. Yeah, like that's a dope brand. Like and they're still like trying to like hold through like with the patterns, with like the material and things that they use. And I don't have any clothing from them, but like just going into their shops and seeing it, it's like, okay, well, you can see like there's like a level like authenticity and like things that they want to like still be in fashion, but show their fashion, show their fashion that's their like culture, their heritage, right? And then there's things like, I guess, Tim Magugu, who's also like another big essay designer, and like fashion house. And they're also trying to like take their roots. So he's trying to take his roots from, because he's like a designer from Joburg. So he's kind of trying to take his roots from there and his kind of story background and see how he can translate that into fashion. So I think it's using fashion as a tool to express, your heritage, your culture, and who you are, I guess. So I think I don't have a clear answer to like how we can like bridge the two. But I think it's something to like think about, and like if anyone can like give suggestions as to how we do that, because it's always good to like have that in mind, to not, even though you want to learn and grow, to not lose yourself and lose kind of who you are. Because a lot of people, I think, especially with the youth, and even myself at certain points, you do lose sense of who you are, where you come from, and then you have to kind of get that back again, know.
No, because it is an interesting chat. Like, for you, ne, like, because I understand, like, you're asking me, like, okay, where's the line? Like, if we had to go into depth, like Taiwanese customs and stuff like that, ne?
Yeah.
And the cultural tradition there, like, because I don't know what like the type of clothing is called, but if you had to see someone who's not necessarily supposed to be in those clothes or like doing whatever they're doing, would you also be able to be like, hey,
Yeah, like it's weird though. Like the main thing is like it just looks weird. It looks forced. Almost. It looks forced, but like sometimes I don't know, because a lot of people do come like to town, or like even they go to Japan and like you put on the traditional clothes and you go take photos. It's like a main tourist like attraction type of thing there.
oh yeah, I've seen that. Because even in Qatar, when like they were giving out those, what do they call them?
Yeah, the one is, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like
Like just the I was called like the headscarf, or like is it a headscarf or
and like the gown.
yeah, like
gown,
the robes
the
almost.
robe,
Yeah, just for lack of the actual word itself. Yeah.
They were giving those things out, and then I was just like, it's something to think about. Also, like,
Yeah.
doesn't it also like hurt your culture and stuff, because it's like kind of like commercializing it?
Yeah, it does kind of. I can imagine it might, but I'm not sure. Like, what do you?
Hey,
I have no idea.
someone.
Because it'd be crazy. Like, imagine, bro, like you're walking like in Gator or something, or like you're doing something, and you see some random bro just wearing like Ep4 shoe, dude. And, like,
Yes.
you're just strolling, and you're like, wait, what? It's like, dude, it's Saturday. What's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, what are you doing right now? Like, like things like that. I think it's just appropriate, like time and place and space, I guess, and like the reason, obviously.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So what are we saying? Are we saying like when you do like wear like the traditional type of clothing, like there has to be a certain time and place for it. There's a time and place for it. If you're just randomly wearing it, you're taking the piss almost.
Yeah, if you're not like, if you know nothing about it and you're not from that culture and you're just doing it randomly, I think you're taking the piss, bro.
Because every piece like has a meaning. It's meant to be worn, for a reason, right? Like if you're of that culture and like maybe like, because I know like guys like they'll just wear like maybe like a leopard printed, like not like an actual leopard vest, but like like the leopard printed vest, and then they just wear like a headband if they're like at home. Like I've seen guys do that, like when I go home or stuff and things like that. But like they're of the culture and they know the importance of it. But yeah, like you said, if it's just like some random like tourist that's coming and they're like, I want to feel like the culture, I want to be, and you're like, what? No, like that's not how we do things, bro. I don't know, maybe where you're from, but like we don't do things like that,
Because I think also get too excited. No,
yeah,
just more, dog. Like,
dude,
relax,
like just easy,
relax, bro.
It's more about like paying respect to the culture. Like you need to be respectful. Like you're coming into this space, into this culture, and it's like you have to pay respect. It's almost like that chat of the World Cup being hosted in Qatar.
Yeah.
Like people getting angry, like the alcohol laws and stuff like that. But it's more like you're going into their space. You got to like pay respect to their culture and like their set of rules and stuff. You got to play by them because like you are going into their home. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, bro. There's something I want to say, but like it'll take us a bit like off the direction
Of
our
course.
path now. Yeah, a bit of course. But then like but I think also like we can chat about these things, but like answering them because they can be, we all like hold different perspectives, man.
Yeah.
There'll be so many different answers. This is not maths or physics where there's one answer. It's different here, bro. So I think that's also what I like about it. Like there can be so many different answers. There can be so many different questions. It's not just one fixed thing. Especially because like society is complex, bro.
It's way too people are complex, bro.
Hey, dog.
Humans are complex, bro. So I think you have to like, it's all about like not really finding a compromise, but finding like a common ground. We can be like, it's either okay, we can both come to this agreement, or we can agree to disagree and just respect each other's choices. Maybe if you don't agree with them, just respect your choice and you just let the other person be, as long as it doesn't affect anyone else badly or whatever.
Because there's no need to fight. Like, don't fight me. Like, we can have like
let's talk. Civil discourse, bro. That's what it's all about. Let's sit down. You don't need to shout. You don't need to scream. Because that's not gonna. It's like I remember I saw like on someone's story, one of my homies' stories. He posted this thing and it was like, don't raise your voice, improve your argument. And I was like,
yeah, don't raise your voice.
That's right though. Like that's right though. Like improve your argument, and if you can't, then see what's happening and then see why you can't improve it, and then maybe your answer's there.
No, I get what you're saying, bro. Yo, Nah, but it's been an interesting chat. Meesh,
Grand chat.
thank you so much. Hey,
Thank you for having me,
name.
gents.
Meesh, dog. Thank you so much, bro. Like, we've really appreciated it. Like, me and Dee were so happy to have you on today. Very interesting conversation. Like, we spoke about so many different things, but like it all linked, you know.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful to have you on. Wish you nothing but the best in terms of. Wait, is it 3-year course? 4-year course?
3-year course, yeah. It's final year, bro.
Oh shit! So you're graduating this
Hey,
year?
bro, it's big year.
It's
Tense. Once I get back, yo, you work.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, we wish you nothing but the best, but we know that you're gonna fly, man.
Nah, I appreciate
it. We're there to support, share, whatever we can do. And hopefully, like, if this thing blows up, you know, like,
hey, man, people out there, you guys really show these guys love. They're taking time out their day to give you quality content right now. They're doing their thing right now. So, yeah, show them the love they deserve, man. But I appreciate goes both ways, both each ends, you know, wherever life takes you, you know, whatever's happening, you know, wish nothing but the best.
Yeah.
Can't jump you up across the table.
My guy.
But yeah, man, enjoy your time in Cape Town last year, bro. Live life to the fullest that side.
Appreciate, bro.
No problem, bro. D, any last words?
Yeah, no, but like, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and like give this advice. I feel like we've learned a lot from you. And I feel like even the viewers, like they can take away a lot, especially the advice on not being afraid to ask for help. Like that was such like a, like I'm still thinking about that, like that piece of advice. Like it's so useful. It's something so small that like you can do to change your life. And I just feel like thank you so much for that insight and like adding that piece of value to our days.
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the platform to do so, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
All love, gents.
To all our, of course, supporters. Let me say supporters. But I always flop this part because I always speak too quickly. I've been speaking gang, okay? To all the of course supporters, thank you so much for tuning in again. Please tune in next week for the next video. We love you guys. All love. Have a beautiful day. Danko.